to Bombshell Radio. Oh my gosh, this has been such a long time coming. I wanted to do this for so long. Honestly, I've wanted secretly to interview you since I found out how many children you have, and then looked at you and thought, how? And like, what do I need to do? You know, get me some, girl. So I can't.
I will show you my
please. I cannot wait to share you with the listeners. I can't wait to learn more about you myself and hear your story. So let's dive right into it. If you would introduce yourself a little bit for us, tell us just a quick version, and then I know we're going to get in deeper into so much of this. But who are you? How did you get into what you're doing?
I'm still wondering who I am, Jackie. I don't know. I'm not sure how I can answer that question. But I'm a life coach. I love moms, and I love helping moms. That's my thing. That's my jam. And I have 7 kids, so you can tell why I like to help moms so much.
Oh.
And I'm the founder of Mom Mastery University, which is the only online faith-based university for moms. And we also have Covenant Coach Academy, which trains up life coaches, faith-based life coaches, to help them start businesses and help them basically change the world. So that's my goal. I'm going to change the world. You're changing the world. Let's do this.
Oh my gosh, I love it. That's awesome. I didn't even know about the Covenant coaches. That's
yeah. It's so incredible. Oh my gosh. I know my family probably gets tired of me talking about it, because just seeing like these coaches are so good. They are so good because we have a high standard that we set. Wow. My feeling is, if you're going to represent the kingdom, you better have your like standards of excellence are way up there. So that's how we're training up our coaches, and it's pretty cool.
That's awesome. And you know, one of the things real quick that I didn't expect out of my business that I love so much is empowering women. I obviously do the work I do in intimacy, but being able to either employ or provide streams of revenue for women, or train them to create their own revenue and make a difference in the world, that has blown my mind with how satisfying that has been.
Yeah. And Jackie, I bet that's not why you started.
It's not at all. I didn't even see it.
Funny?
Yeah. Not at all.
Because we always start like we have these dreams for ourselves, and all of a sudden as we move into those places of like prosperity and abundance, we're like, wait, like it's not just about me. And all of a sudden we get like more of more that high vibe, like I'm going to help other people, and that's more exciting to me than anything I can do for my, my bottom line is when I see other people change their lives. Oh my gosh, don't get me started on that. Awesomeness.
Yeah, I hear you. It's amazing. Okay, so start us at the beginning a little bit here. We don't need to go a ton into your upbringing unless you want to, but I'd love to begin when you met your husband. You dropped the bomb on him that you wanted to have almost 10 children. Just kidding. A little bit of the love story.
Story about how we met, and actually it's really long. I can't even give you the Cliff Note versions, but it was definitely something that was meant to be. But he found a notebook of mine. We met each other freshman year in college, and nothing, no fireworks, nothing. It's like, And then fast forward 3.5 years, and he comes across this notebook that I left, a sketch pad that I left in the art department of that university 3.5 years ago. And he's like, oh, we're about to graduate. I should just reach out to her, tell her I have this, give it back to her, see if she wants to do something. That was it. Yeah, we just knew. And we never talked about kids.
Wow.
It was like, I'm pregnant. Like, it was like, bring it on. This is a party. Like, it was so much fun. And it is so much fun.
Okay, so we won't be asking you about birth control techniques then. Although you probably
you can ask my son Kyler, because he's a product of birth control.
There you go.
So I'm probably the most fertile couple.
That is awesome. I mean, that's just, and everybody's got their own journey that God has them on, but what a blessing and what a gift to have
what a blessing
of that many souls. So when that began, right, and I know you didn't see it coming probably necessarily, but where was your mindset? Because I talked to so many women who are terrified of motherhood, right? And although it's well branded and the baby clothes are cute, there's this like, oh my gosh, my life's going to change forever. No one's ever fully going to understand all the responsibilities that are now on me. What am I getting into? So what were you at all in that place, or what was that journey like for you?
Jackie, I clearly remember standing on the stoop of our ghetto apartment, and because we couldn't afford anything. We were broker than, like, we were broke as a joke. I mean, it was ridiculous. But I remember standing on, seriously, like where you saw like blunts on the ground and everything. That was where we lived. And standing there in the stoop and holding my first baby, Kelsey. And it was like we had been home from the hospital for a week. And I watched my mom, like she was there to help me. And I watched her pull away. And I look at her and I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. Like, I have no idea. I just looked at my baby. It's like, let's figure this out. And that's why I love helping moms, because it took me years to figure out what worked and what didn't, and how adjustments need to be made, and how I can still have a very full, exciting, you know, wonderful, sensual life as a mom. I don't think we have to like put everything on the shelf and say, well, that was me before. I'll get back to you in 30 years. No, I think we can just, you know, enjoy that time and allow that new baby or those babies just to become a wonderful, integral part of this masterpiece that you're creating as an individual.
That's gorgeous. So you kind of were able to see the, not even necessarily the bigger picture, but you just kind of jumped off the cliff and were like, let's do this thing, man. I don't really know where I'm going.
That's how I've basically done my life.
It's a good way to do things, right?
Like, oh Lord, please let me grow wings. Please let me grow wings.
I hope this works. I hope this works. Oh my gosh, that's awesome. Okay, so 7 children, 8 total, 7 biological. So was there an adoption or? But you.
Well, we have a spiritual daughter who came to us when she was little and just kind of, you know, we were like, yeah, sure.
I love it. A very full household.
Very full.
As you were figuring things out, I mean, I imagine that you do the work you do now because there were times when you hadn't figured it out. So can you describe a little bit for us to make us all feel better? Because I just have 2 and there are days where I'm like,
oh my gosh,
2, I'm done with 2. I think we're good. So what
Jackie, are you going to make me go back to that cold, dark place?
Very briefly, just make us feel better.
Well, seriously, I felt like the faster I spun my wheels, the quicker I was digging myself in deeper. And I could not figure this out. As soon as I'd pay off a bill, another one would come. As soon as I got this cleaned up, there would be a mess here. And I was like, what am I doing? Why am I even here? Why did God give me these wonderful children to screw them up for life? You know, all the thoughts, all the feels, like all of it. And I remember one time so clearly, Jackie, I remember I was sitting I had walked into my bedroom and I saw a reflection of myself on the mirror that was on this expensive piece of furniture that we eventually couldn't pay for and had to give up. But I saw my reflection on the mirror of the dresser when I walked in, and I saw someone who was miserable, depressed, given up. Like, you know, the dirty hair pulled back, one of my husband's shirts because I'm too big to fit into any of my clothes, and because, you know, if you wear really big clothes, it makes you look so skinny. Definitely. And said no one ever. And I got a glimpse of myself, and I was just like, this is what my life has become. Like, this is it. I look so old for being so young. And I remember just collapsing on the floor in the middle of like 3 loads of laundry from days before that I had still not folded, and just sobbing, like ugly cry. Like, I don't know what's snot, what's tears. I don't know what's happening with my face right now. And I was just like, you know, that kind of cry. And I so clearly, in the middle of that laundry pile, remember hearing God's voice saying, stand up and fold your laundry. And that little task, and I was saying, no, I need like a big rescue. You know, I need like someone to come in and say, we're going to pay off all your debt, and we're going to like put you through a physical makeover so you're healthy, and we're going to clean up your house. But it was that one voice that says, stand up, because I knew I wasn't born to live this kind of life. And God just confirmed that. It's like, stand up and fold up your laundry. And I grabbed a clean sock. It was clean. A clean sock of my husband's, wiped off my face.
Oh, man.
On a Hanes white ankle sock. Stood up and folded the heck out of that laundry. And it was just those little bitty steps. And God started to show me strategies that work with me, the way I'm wired. I was trying to do everything that I saw read in all the books I checked out of the library, or that I listened to on all the tapes or all the programs. And these were, I know a lot of it is awesome information, but these were mostly men, mostly in recording studios, mostly behind desks, mostly going to a job every day, or having a career every day. And I was in a laundry pile. So I started using strategies that God showed me in his word that works for me and the way my brain is wired, which is why I do so much research in the mom brain, because the mom brain is wired so differently. And I started to get traction, and I started to make a life change, and it was incredible. Wow. And one day I was at the grocery store, and I saw all these women doing the shopping cart shuffle. You know what I'm talking about? Where you can barely hold your body up and you're like, oh my God, like laying on your shopping cart, and your kids are like, oh, Mommy, I want this. And they're just like, yeah, like miserable. Everyone leaning, like no one was standing upright. I'm like, have I gone to hell? Like, what is happening here at the grocery store? And God was like showing me, like, people need this. Like, you know, they're miserable. Wow. That's the norm, like to be depressed and overwhelmed and anxious and broke. Yeah. And I was like, okay, what you got for me? Let's do this.
Wow. Wow. So where did it begin then? Was this originally a blog? Did you start talking with women at church? Kind of how did
everything. All that. If like 5 women were meeting together in a grocery store, I was there. Like whatever opportunity I had to speak, and we started doing a newsletter. I started doing a weekly call for moms. And it's so funny, Jackie. I remember like I would prepare for these calls, like pour my heart into them and my blood, sweat, tears, everything, prepare this awesome inspirational message for moms. And I'd have like 1 or 2 people show up.
Yep.
And I'm like, okay, I will not despise the days of very, very, very small beginnings. I'm going to plug in there. I just kept going and kept persisting, and wouldn't let the results persuade me to not. Like, it was too important to me. The message was too clear for me to not get out. So, yeah.
Oh, I love that. I love that. That's when the sense of assignment is so much bigger than worrying what even God's going to do with this. You know, you're just like, this is here in front of me. I know I'm supposed to do this. I don't even care what comes of it.
Yeah.
And something always does, you know, because he doesn't put out an assignment that's void. That's beautiful. So what were the ages of your children as you were beginning that? Because I know myself, certainly, and a lot of the women I work with, their kids are young and they're trying to start businesses, and it takes like the mom brain to the stratosphere, you know, because you are supposed to feel put together and organized and functional and productive. And instead you're haywire. So how was that? Where did that happen in your motherhood journey?
All throughout it.
Okay.
Like I would do calls with a nursing baby. Like it was all that. Everything was kind of just, there were no hard and strict lines. And I think that's what typically like gurus will say, you know, you got to delineate this and structure this, schedule this. And for moms, that can set themselves up for failure, because a kid is going to dump all the toilet paper in the toilet, and a child is going to spill their food, and someone's going to pee somewhere. And so you're like, hey, that doesn't work for me. So it's just kind of I allow the lines to be blurred, and I allowed my kids the privilege to see a woman who was trying to create something out of nothing. And I think that has blessed them in ways that if I had tried to do things differently, it would not have. Like, I welcome them to be a part of it.
Yeah.
And whenever like, for example, if someone would like set up a call for me and things were noisy in the background, I'm like, that's okay. Like, I want whoever I'm talking to know that I'm right there with you. Yeah. Your kids are making noise. My kids are making noise. I have to go because someone slammed their hand in the door, and there are times you have to go too. And it's okay, because we're in this together. I got you and you got me, and we're going to make sense out of this.
That's beautiful. Gorgeous. And where was your husband in all this? Did he kind of see the vision too, or was this your own thing in the beginning? And then he was like, oh, you're doing something.
He has always been so supportive of me. Like, honestly, if I had been him, I could have. But he's always been like, I remember I wanted to invest in this program one time. And he was like, we just can't. We don't have any money. We can't do that. And I was like, but I have to. Like, I have to do this. And I'm going to do it. And I don't want to ask you for permission. And it was kind of that like, oh, like, she's going to do this. And he's had to like go with so many of my whims and just understand sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. But he stuck to it. And now he gets a house on the lake with a, you know.
Worked out for him.
I don't think he's suffering too much, you know. I don't think he's suffering.
That's awesome. Oh my gosh, I love it. And then your children too. So this entrepreneurial journey, which I love, and I know our mutual friend Eileen has a similar philosophy of like, let the kids in a little bit on what building a dream looks like. How has it affected them?
I think it has ruined them for any kind of employment.
Never a job. Never a job.
I'm like, could any of you just have a job out, like starting a business? Like, I worked as a waitress. You have to have a job, but they're like, I'm going to build a funnel for this, and I'm going to sell supplements, and I'm going to start a nonprofit, and I'm like, oh my God, I have ruined my children.
Oh, that's so
yeah, like all these other kids are getting, their summer jobs, and my kids are trying to. I ruined them. I have.
Oh, not in the least. I think that's so awesome.
My oldest daughter, she's like, yeah, with this, because my husband and I, we're so in love and we just can't keep our hands off each other. She's like, yeah, you and Dad basically have screwed all of us. Like, we're all screwed. Like, forget it. I'm going to have the most amazing marriage. I'm going to build the most amazing business.
High standards. Yes, you can have it all. That's awesome. That's absolutely gorgeous. I imagine that when most of the women who come to you find you, this feels like a pipe dream to them. This feels like you got lucky. I'm so lost. And the before stories, I think, are so important. Even if it's hard to imagine the person we see in the now, in the then, it's so critical to even have an image of like, okay, she was totally lost in it like I am. What do you say to these women who first come to you? And I know you have a lot of strategies that are in your courses and stuff that we'll talk about how people can get to those. But what's just the beginning, like all is not lost kind of speech, if you will, that you begin when they come to you?
Yeah. Well, I think it's super important to experience a win. I don't think moms, and even if we do experience a win, we don't allow ourselves to really experience it and celebrate it.
Yeah.
I think we just are constantly like trying to do more and qualify ourselves as people and as moms, as women. And what I love to help women with, first of all, is to just breathe and say, you got this. Things are going to change. I've got you. Trust me in this. And here's what you need to do. This one actionable step. Let's get that down first and give them a win. Let them lose that first 5 pounds. Let them just clean up one part of their bedroom. Let them just make 2 calls to build their business, but something, and then to almost force them. Moms do not give themselves enough credit. Almost force them no, you're going to stop and you're going to celebrate and tell me what's awesome about you. Tell me how great you are. Tell me how amazing this thing is that you did, and to celebrate it. Because here's what happens. Moms don't do that. And so it trains our brain to not want to do it again.
Interesting.
So, but if we give our brain that dopamine rush of saying, yeah, I'm pretty awesome. I did this. Look at it. Then our brain's like, okay, this checks out. I'll let her do it again. We really have to know how to hack our brain when you're a mom and to work with the way it's wired.
So a positive association, essentially, a reward setup where it's like, that was a good thing. I think I'll do that again. That's brilliant.
Yeah.
What are a couple, and I don't want to get too much into your special sauce, but a strategy or two that
I'll give you everything, Jackie.
Okay, whatever you want. But a couple things that get women either started in the right direction, or I know half the time the battle is just seeing things differently, even if not so much changes immediately, but just those internal shift that realigned you.
Yeah. Well, it all starts in the mind.
Yeah.
I am an expert at understanding how to transform your mind to get what you want. Boom. And because I've had to do it.
Yeah.
I've had to do it to myself so much. And I've worked with other women, to work with the way you're thinking. If you can get the right thought, then the feeling and the action just happens inconsequentially. It just flows out of that thinking. So get the right thought. But what I love to help moms do, because that's kind of one of those things oh, well, I want something now. Give me, that's a nice idea, but I want something now. So what I love to suggest for moms to do is just create a simple habit that you can do, that you can start doing today, tomorrow. Do that for 7 days. Even if it's I'm just going to make up my bed. That's it.
Yeah.
And I'm going to do 7 days of it, because what that does, again, it trains your brain into repetition. And so it actually gets programmed in a different section of it's a different part of your brain. It's your primitive brain. And so that's where we store all of our habits and our routines. So if we can get our, prefrontal cortex, just get that critical thinking around, I'm just going to do this one habit, and I'm not going to set this huge target. I'm going to lower the baseline. I'm just going to make up my bed every day for 7 days and see how that changes something internally. It always does. We discredit the small steps.
Yeah. Yeah. Something I see, and I know I do this too, is women getting in, and men, these all or nothing mentalities. And the
Yeah.
idea that a small win almost is worthless is something
Yeah.
I think we really have to battle, because otherwise we look at the enormity of the mess, whatever kind of mess it is around us, and it's so overwhelming we don't even begin. So to say, it's totally fine if my desk is still a disaster, I'm going to clear this chair off and I'm going to feel like $1,000,000 and congratulate myself for that. So
Right.
that's, I think, critical as a mom. And if we can possibly find things that the children cannot go behind us and undo, then it's so much better that the win feels like there's a sense of permanence. That's gorgeous.
Right. Right. Right.
So
But be able to see it, like make sure you're filtering what you see. So if you see a mess, if you see the load of laundry, say, well, that's not my day for that. This isn't where I categorize that. So it's okay. It's supposed to be this way, and not heap on the guilt. That's why I hate to-do lists, despise to-do lists.
Mm.
And I work with moms on obliterating that beast and just calendarizing their things so they can say, oh, that's not my gig today. Like, it's okay. I'm not going to hold guilt over myself. And I even worked with someone the other day. It's like, okay, so tomorrow, here are the non-negotiables. What are the few things you're going to do? And when are you going to watch that series that you love on Netflix? Like, put that in the calendar. So when you watch, it's like, I don't feel bad.
Yep.
I can sit here and I can watch it and I can enjoy it because I did the non-negotiables, and this is like in my calendar and I'm doing it. It's just training your brain that when you say something to yourself, you mean it. We break trust with ourselves every day and we wonder why we can't stick to anything. Wow. And the first person you need to be loyal and honest with is yourself. And if you say you do something, you're going to do it.
That's fabulous. I've heard that before. Just obliterate a to-do list and calendar instead. And it's a trust thing of like, but what if I lose this enormous list of everything I've told myself I need to do in my life? But it's so much more powerful. And almost every efficient woman I know essentially has a calendar instead of a to-do list, really.
Yeah.
And then you're absolutely right. That self-belief that builds of, I trust myself. My word is good to myself. Like I'm smart and people like me and all those kind of affirmations that we think of, but they build.
Right.
So I imagine that when you see a woman do this, and I know people start in different places, right? Some women will begin with fitness or with getting the house clean or whatever it is. But what I've found is that the confidence builds, right? So maybe you start organizing your house and then you're like, I think I could probably throw in a couple 20-minute workouts a couple times a week. And you start believing in your ability to become more things. So do you see that, this kind of growth spiral that women get in where suddenly their confidence is expanding to other areas?
Oh, absolutely. I call it like when you're stuck in this, I keep thinking this thought, it creates this feeling, and then I do this action, and then as a result, I think this thought, and then I feel this feeling, I do this. We're stuck in this thing I call a mom loop, and it just keeps going, and we wonder why we can't lose the weight, why we can't clean up. Now, a lot of times we will put what I call a shame blanket on top of the negative results that we get. Like, now I feel bad about feeling anxious. So we just heap on these things and it goes in that downward spiral. The same thing, Jackie, happens when you can just switch a little bit, just by 1 degree, you start spiraling upward. It's the same thing because it's all a cycle of your thoughts creating your feelings, creating your actions, and creating your results. And so when you can make like this, for example, I'm looking out at a lake right now. And if I like shot a bow and arrow, first of all, I don't know how to, but if I shot a bow and arrow and the further it goes, if I just change like 1 or 2 degrees, it would land in a completely different place.
Yeah.
So we can't think that my results have to be dramatic because they will be that in the long term. I just need to make a little shift now and watch where that upward spiral is going to lead me.
Oh, that's so powerful. It's so important. What do you do? And I know I've seen this and it's super hard because a lot of the women who come to me with relationship issues, we're talking about one area of the relationship, but then we hear about the rest and it's a beast. So as a woman's trying to be her best, grow, I know a lot of women who are often in kind of low places in their life in any way have either brought in or allowed or tolerated people who are very cruel to them verbally or controlling or manipulating. So if she has someone in her life, and of course the most difficult person is a husband, how do you work with women where they're trying to be their best self and they're just kind of getting beaten down by people around them? What's your advice to women in that position?
Well, it wouldn't be your typical advice because the typical advice is, get away from them.
Sure.
and like,
Yeah.
create your like circle of really high performers. But that's not a possibility for moms,
Mm.
because that whole thing, like you'll become like the 5 people you hang around the most. The 5 people a mom hangs around, like they pick their nose, they poop in their pants, they pour food all over. Like, is that going to be you? So I don't
Hopefully
give
not.
that typical advice. What I help moms do is become completely divorced from other people's perception. So they are so in tune with their thoughts and their mindset that they can reach their goals and they can perform at a high level without having anyone verbally or physically support them. Because
Wow.
we are capable. If we have the Spirit of God in us, what can come at us? Like, we can be surrounded with frustration, we can be surrounded with negativity, and we are absolutely, ultimately 100% responsible for ourselves.
Yeah.
So if you get that mind frame, it doesn't matter. You don't need people to cheer you on. And like, yeah, great, that would be awesome. But you don't need that in order to perform at your best. You can be amazing. You can be spectacular. You can get off the chart results without having the cheerleader, without having the crowd to encourage you.
Mhm.
You have the ability to do this.
Mm. I love that. And what about when there's an element of sabotage, right? I've certainly seen that with women I've worked with, whether it's their mother or maybe it is their husband. It's obviously harder when it's in the home, but there's someone who's literally trying to prevent their growth
Right.
and almost going out of their way to block them.
Yeah.
Um, because I mean, it's one thing to not have a cheerleader. It's another thing to feel like you've got someone constantly trying
Right.
to stab you.
Right. Well, what I suggest is just this one little word. Aw.
Hmm.
When someone is coming to sabotage you, they're coming from a place of pain.
Yeah.
And so get out of your head and get into theirs and
Hmm.
say, why would this person feel threatened by me? Why would this person feel a need to sabotage? What is weak and painful in them that and almost if you can like change it from, look what's happening to me to,
What's happening for you?
someone's in pain.
Hmm.
It changes everything. It's like you flip the coin. It's the other side of the coin. You can consider everything reflected upon you, or you can consider nothing reflected upon you and get in their head and understand that there's a motivation here, there's pain here, and that's okay.
Hmm.
I can allow the pain because maybe that person can grow through it.
That's gorgeous.
Maybe by not coming alongside the door or not reacting to them, I'm allowing them to feel a pain that could lead them to a better place. Who says we need to make everything okay for everybody?
So really understanding your realm of responsibility, what's
Yeah,
yours, what's someone else's, and then having that grace and compassion. So not getting into the anger battles, but really just being in your
right,
own energy and having so much kindness towards someone. Empathy, really. Empathy is what it comes down to.
yeah.
That's gorgeous. So Hannah, tell me why and to what extent you recommend that women start their own businesses. I know that that's passion for you and maybe it's not right for everybody, but there's elements of you teaching women how to bring in income in some way or another. What kind of
Right.
role do you think that plays? Because I know, particularly in the church, sometimes there's an attitude of that's not the woman's area. And especially if she has children and she's, needing to be the mom thing. Yeah, I know. Believe me. I know I'm preaching to the choir here, but
Oh, that's so funny. Aw.
it aligns with
Aw. Here we go, Jackie. Ready? Aw.
Aw, yeah, it
Aw.
really is quite sad and very biblically
Sweet.
accurate.
Sorry, I offended you.
Oh my gosh. So to what extent do you feel that, I don't want to say every woman because I think if God's calling them to something great, but that this is an important part of a woman's existence, that she's doing something out in the world and perhaps it's generating revenue, perhaps it's not. What are your thoughts on that? What do you tell women?
Yeah, well, understand, first of all, you're doing a great and mighty work now. Like,
Mhm.
if you don't have that basic foundational knowledge, you're going to just screw up like you are, because you're trying to now prove something that you don't believe about yourself.
Yes, and
So
you
get
never.
that basic knowledge that I am doing a great and mighty work right here. I don't need to add anything to it because I'm doing a great thing. Like, get that so deep in your spirit, because if you try to grow out of a place of lack, that it is absolutely impossible. You never will build a business out of lack. You
Hmm.
grow anything, whether it's a business, a ministry, a service project, whatever, out of a place of abundance. You're like, what I'm doing right now, as a mom with my kids in this home, it's so freaking awesome. And get that so filled in you that it's like, now, how can I serve others? What's in me that other people may want to get? How can I make someone's life easier? But you've got to and I'm not saying you have to have all your stuff together, but stuff together, but you do have to have this knowledge of abundance. So I know a lot of people are like, well, I can't help anyone until I get my act together. Well, girl, I'll see you when you 120
We're in heaven. Yeah.
in heaven. But to understand that if I want to build a business, it's not to fill myself up. It's not to get some kind of understanding or prove something about myself. I'm already awesome. Yeah. So when you have that basic understanding, I think if you want to build a business, if you want to start a ministry, if you want to do a blog, whatever it is, fantastic. But it's got to come from the right place. And that's a place of abundance where you just want to serve. And nothing is tied to it. I need to make this much by this date. Like, forget that. Just serve out of a place of abundance and watch it'll come back to you. And also, I just love side hustles, personally, because of the tax benefits. And I think anyone who is not having a side hustle, I'm like, girl, you don't know how much money you're leaving on the table.
Yeah. Amen.
Yeah. Like I am big into tax benefits for women who start businesses, and I help women find all that. We have templates that all they have to do is like hand it to their CPA and get all the tax benefits from it. So if just for that reason, as long as it's coming out of a place of abundance, yes, ma'am.
That's awesome. What about when a woman begins something like that, or she's already in that and she has children, as you deal with those types of ladies, and she's feeling the mom guilt of like, when I'm in my business, I should be working with or playing with my kids. When I'm with my kids, I need, I'm answering emails on the side. Do you delineate like scheduling, batching? How do you overcome that emotional sense of wherever I am, I'm supposed to be somewhere else?
Yeah. Well, think about this, Jackie. Every emotion comes from a thought. So what is the thought that you're holding that's creating the guilt? And here's the thought that I find in most moms, just from doing my coaching, is if I'm a great business builder, I'll be a horrible mom. If I'm a good mom, I can't build a business. We delineate between those and think they're two separate identities. And we put these two parts of ourselves at war constantly, which is so screwed up. You never find a man going to work saying, well, I don't know if I'm going to be a good dad if I succeed at being chairman of the board. But we have this tendency to think, well, I'm either this or I'm this. And it doesn't have to be this or this. You can understand that I think of a business as just giving birth to another baby. You wouldn't say, Tommy, I can't feed you. Sorry. I've got to feed like Ann and Michael over here. So Tommy, you go fend for yourself. You wouldn't do that to a new baby. So don't do it to a new business. Just consider it integrated and part of your life.
Wow. That's gorgeous, Hannah. That's absolutely gorgeous. Oh my gosh. Okay. Is there anything else that you would want to add to the things that we've discussed? And then I've got a couple quick questions for you, but I feel like maybe you've got something that's on your mind that you would love to just.
Well, Jackie, I always have something on my mind. Always. So let's talk. No. One thing I'd love to let people understand is sometimes we're always trying to fix ourselves. What is the next program? What's the next podcast? What's the next thing I need to do to fix myself? And I just want everyone to understand that you're not broken. You don't need to be fixed. There's nothing wrong with you. We have wrong things that happen, wrong thoughts that occur. That's okay. But there's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing broken about you, and you do not need to be fixed. You are enough, and actually you have enough. And now out of that enoughness, let's go forward and see what we can make in this world. See how we're going to show up. We have one life.
I love that. I find there's so many Christians who are kind of living like pre-resurrection constantly, constant self-flagellation, constant, I'm not good enough. And it's like, but there was this victorious end, guys, and we get to live from there now. So I love that you said that. That's such a great mindset to come at everything from.
Yeah. Jesus isn't on the cross anymore, guys.
Yeah.
He's a victory.
It is literally finished. He even said so. So we're good. I love that. Okay. Quick couple questions for you just for fun. What is bringing you, Hannah, the most joy right now? I'm sure that Lakeview is helping.
Yes. Me the most joy. Oh, so much joy. I love growth. I love seeing what's happening in my kids' lives as they get older and become adults and just rock their game. I love that. That brings me a lot of joy.
That's gorgeous.
And also hanging out with my husband and watching Netflix, just those things.
Yep. Netflix and chill. Netflix and chill. What's something you do most mornings, a little peek into your morning routine that gives you life?
Oh, I can tell you my exact morning routine. So.
Let's do it. Let's do the whole routine.
Okay, all right. Here's my morning routine. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, so I get up pretty stinking early, and first thing I do is spend time reading the Bible. And after that, I walk 2 miles with my dogs. And then I love to like walk around the grounds because we have like a lake here. And after we get home, I walk around, and then before I get in, I meditate. I just spend time in meditation and prayer out on the dock if the weather's okay. Kind of priming myself for the day. And after that, get dressed and get ready to rock. Yeah, but that's like, I have to have that morning routine. I feel so out of sorts if I don't, because that's another example of it being coded into your primitive brain. My brain thinks we're going to die if we don't meditate, like, because I've done it so much.
I love that. And I'm sure that you do it too when you travel. I have a very similar wake up routine, but those elements of prayer outside, meditation, movement, it's gorgeous. Okay. Favorite recent book?
Favorite recent book? I read like 8 books at a time. I love the books, The Science of Being Rich. It's Science by Wallace. Yeah, I love that because I see it has spiritual implications too. I'm reading a book right now that I got like free on Kindle, I think, like Abundance Code or something like that. So that's really good. What else am I reading? I've got so many books I'm reading. I'm going to remember 18 of these. Could you have given me the like heads up? I would have had like, here's my library. I would have like brought the book.
I know. Half of the perfectness is like the stuff that's on your mind and sourcing what's like even unconscious.
But I love reading nonfiction. My husband loves reading biographies. I am so into nonfiction.
Yeah, I've almost, not since Nancy Drew days, almost have I read fiction. I'm with you. Always self-improvement stuff. Yes. 3 things you're most grateful for.
Well, just life, just waking up and breathing and being present. Just so grateful for that. Also, I'm really grateful for the way I eat. I know it's probably an odd thing, but I just love that I've taken care of my body so that I have a lot of energy. I mean, I'm over 50. So it's like, I feel so young and so, full of energy because I think I've just like treated my body right. So I'm grateful for past Hannah and the choices that she made to bring me here. Also just family. I know that sounds trite, but every day I picture every person in my family, just pour so much gratitude toward them. So
that's beautiful. What's one way women can honor themselves more?
Just spend a few minutes on yourself. Like, shave your legs. Or put on some makeup. Wipe on some chapstick. Like, just because we're like, I don't have time. You are the only you. Like, that's it. This is your experience in life. One time around. Just take a moment to just honor yourself by taking care of yourself and showing up. Like, who says you can't wear the awesome boots on a day when you're just home with your kids? Yeah. Who says you can't wear the pretty underwear? Like, do it. Use the good china. Like,
we're always so much on the same page. I knew we'd be friends. I love that because I think that we don't have time, and yet when I made that switch, and it's always been a series of switches, shockingly, I still have enough time. I have as much time as I did before. And I have as much stuff. If I wear out one pair of clothes, something new comes in. It's really the scarcity mentality. I think
totally.
It won't work. It won't work if I do it, but it will. And it'll work better. And
it always does.
Yeah, it's amazing.
You always spring back. It always does.
It always refills. Okay.
There's Amazon Prime.
Exactly. On your phone, 2-day shipping, 1 click. Okay. I love it. It's dangerous, but I love it. Anything else?
Dangerous. I love it.
Yeah, my husband, not so much. Anything else you want the listeners to think about or know? We kind of covered that, but anything else you want to say?
I think we've covered a
Yeah,
lot,
you've done
Yeah.
awesome. So let's finish up with your advice for life in one sentence.
Oh my gosh, Jackie, you're so unfair. You're no longer my friend. I'm never going to talk to you again. You got this.
Yeah, I love that. Amen. I want that on every wall. You know what I mean? I don't know about you, but I like inspirational verses, things all over, everywhere. Desktop, phone, walls, anywhere, just to get the truth in. And you've got this is so simple, so overdone, quite frankly, but still so needed. So I love that.
We don't need the drama. Life is like 98% drama. It's 2% what actually happens.
So true.
You know, like this happened. I woke up late and now I didn't have time to do it. But it's like, oh my God, we're late again. I'm such a big, can we just leave off the drama and open up so much more energy to actually enjoy our lives and just, you got this, like chill, lady.
I love that. There's some quote, and I feel like it's either Mark Twain or Winston Churchill, but I've lived through many terrible things and some of them actually happened. I think that all the time, like, oh, my poor brain, it is so tired with these realities that didn't
I'm tired of rehearsing this.
So good. Okay, Hannah, tell people where they can find you, what kind of work you offer women, a little bit of the overview of a woman's fallen in love with how awesome you are naturally. Where can she go to get help? Help me, Hannah.
Well, I think the first thing to do is start getting those brain hacks. And we have every month we do a Mom Fog challenge. So I will send you a free copy of my book. Just go to momfog.com and get plugged into the challenge. We do it every single month, carry a group through it, and it's totally affordable. It's like this one woman today, she's like, shouldn't this be like $500? I'm like, yeah, I probably should, but yeah, it's totally cheap. But it helps you just get a grasp on what is my brain doing as a mom, and how can I hack this to get more done, get more energy, get more enjoyment out of life.
Yeah, and that's really where it all begins. I think sometimes people look at the kind of brain mindset stuff as like, I'll get to that when I have time. But what you're doing right now is happening because of that. So if you can tweak that, everything that you're doing will improve. You can't help it. So awesome. Totally. I love that. And what's the website for that? Or do they just Google it?
You can go to MomFog.
MomFog. Okay, momfog.com.
I mean, you can go to hannahkeeley.com and find out all about me, but I'd rather you just get results quickly.
Get the good stuff.
So go to MomFog.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Hannah. This has been such a blast. You're such a delight to be around, even virtually. I'm so grateful for your time that you spent with us. So glad that my ladies can meet you and now go follow you obsessively. But just the wisdom that you bring women and the obedience that you've had to your assignment, your calling, I really honor you for that. I thank you for that. I know you have changed so many lives, even beyond what you're aware of, I'm sure. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Jackie. You're a blessing. This has been so much fun.
It's been a blast. Always is. All right, my dear, we will talk again soon. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.